giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Texas Family Fitness, Freeman Mazda, and Worth the Poor. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. It's Friday, baby. Feel good Friday. I am excited for this weekend. I'll tell you later during our Feel Good Friday segment why. Yes, we're bringing that back, so make sure y'all have that in the back of your heads. Later, we want to know what makes you feel good heading into this weekend. Cowboys wise, not a whole lot dropped yesterday in the wire that probably made you feel good. But we'll talk about it today. In the roundup, we have updates on Amari Cooper and Blake Jarwin, as well as looking at the combine results from the tight ends and the wide receivers. And then coming out of that, we'll get in a discussion in regards to this tight end position and I struggle with this word, y'all. A pet cat, I don't like the word pet cat right now. Pet cat should be saved for guys that are on your team. But I think I have a new-ish favorite tight end in this draft. I was waiting to see how this person ran, how this person looked at the combine before I went all in, because I loved what I saw, but I'm like, how fast is he? How strong is he? And does he fit? And I think he does. So we'll talk about who I don't want to say number one tight end is, but a guy, because the Cowboys, listen, Cowboys are in the market. We'll get into it. They are in the market. Most likely we'll be drafting a tight end in the draft this year, but I don't think they need to do it early. So if I can get a guy end day 2, early day 3, I've got a guy for you. So we'll talk about that. What's going on, Cowboys Nation? I see you guys are here early in the building. James Rogley, Tom Downey, burner account, C. Burleson, Will Anthony, Dro, the Gooner, Jeremy. What's up, Jeremy? Professor O, what's going on, brother? Primetime Phil, Frankie Franchise, Anthony Moore, TC915, Calvin Jefferson, Derek Smalls in the building. Who else we got here? Alpha Mason, Brian Peters, Jonathan Scruggs. Hey, y'all were waiting, huh? I kept y'all waiting. My apologies. CJ Richards, what's up, brother? Actually, we have I forgot to talk about this. Later, the Friday mailbag will be open, and we have your questions, so we'll get to that. What's up, Matt? What's up, Will Anth? We got Cedric Bats in the building. Sunshine Janae, Oscar Sullivan, Jason Tidd, and Chuck P. Appreciate you guys over on Facebook checking us out. What's going on, Jacob and James and Chris and Brian B? Yeah, today is, look, you can see it right there, right? We're most likely going to be talking about this tight end situation and wide receiver situation because of a tweet that dropped yesterday. But again, I think we are doing a good job here of keeping you posted and up to date on what's likely to come for one Amari Cooper. But let's get into the roundup because there is some nuggets to get to.
Looking at my Gucci, it's about that time.
It's time! It's time!
It's time!
It's time!
Time. It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
This is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness, a solution for your fitness goals. Strive for progress, not perfection. Fitness goals are accomplished not with one workout, but progress towards your goals with Texas Family Fitness. Check out any of the 9 locations in the DFW area or hit up TexasFamilyFitness.com. And if you want to know more, you can also hit me up too. I've been there. I go there. Not as much. My lady probably listening like, you ain't there as much anymore. But I can give you a little insight on that too. All right, man. Now, did y'all watch the combine yesterday? I thought the wide receiver times were a little fishy. I ain't going to hold you. I'm sitting here seeing these things. I'm like, 4.21, 4.26. Get out of here. They don't run no four. So I'm watching it, and what made me feel weird about the situation was I see the time, I see the player run it, and it doesn't add up to me. I'm no track coach. I'm not in the NFL, but it just was weird. Nonetheless, the official times did come out, and guys like Taquan Thornton did run a ridiculous blazing speed. And you still had nine guys run a sub 4.4, which is crazy. However, that doesn't necessarily translate to being this great player, right? That's not how it works. That's not how it works. But just speaking on combine terms, you had a ton of players run fast. Now, I'm going to ignore the short, small guys, the 5'7" types, no offense to the Calvin Austins and all that, because I don't think the Cowboys are going to draft a guy like that. I'm going to talk about two players that I thought helped themselves with the 40-yard dash at the wide receiver position. And I think one or two, depending on how you view either of these players, is Chris Olave out of Ohio State. He ran a 4.39, which was way off from the first time that he was given, the unofficial time, which was 4.26. I don't understand how they are that far apart. It's kind of crazy, but 4.39 is still very impressive. Smooth wide receiver. I think he's going to end up going as one of the top 3 wide receivers taken in the draft. There will probably be about anywhere between 5 or 6 guys taken in the first round. And the Cowboys will likely, unfortunately, be in the market. But that doesn't mean they have to take one in the first. But they should be able to have their pick of the litter, I think, at 24. Now, will Chris Olave be there? I don't think so. But I think overall, Sky Moore probably helped himself the most at the combine. Listen, y'all already know I was a fan of the guy. It has nothing to do with his name, allegedly. But Sky Moore was Fly Moore yesterday. He was Fly Moore. He ran a 4.41, so he pretty much quieted any concerns about his speed. But if you watch him, I mean, you can see the explosiveness. You can see the short area quickness. And I think he has downfield explosiveness too, meaning he can run by you. I personally believe he's going to be a slot demon type, utilized correctly. But he has the ability to go outside. And I mean, I've been saying these things about Sky for a while now. One of my favorite wide receivers in the draft that aren't considered day 1 guys. But best believe he's going to go day 2. I can't see Sky Moore falling out of the second round. He probably won't fall to 56 if we're being completely honest. So I think Chris Olave and Sky Moore helped themselves greatly yesterday. I mean, Garrett Wilson's Garrett Wilson. He'll probably be the first wide receiver off the board. But a guy who probably didn't help himself, Trey Burks. He'll still go in the first round, y'all. But he was a lot less explosive than I thought he'd be at the combine. The 40 time I'm not really tripping about. 4.5 for a 6'3", 225-pound wide receiver pushing 230. I'm not tripping about the 40 time, but the short area quickness wasn't great. The explosiveness and the vertical wasn't so great. Could you argue he hurt his stock? Maybe, but I always thought he was in that. He was behind the Chris Olave, behind the Garrett Wilson anyway. So he probably just didn't do anything with this stock. But it won't help that he didn't look explosive at the combine. It won't help. It looks like a lot of you guys like Sky Moore as well. Yeah, George Pickens. Professor O, that's the cat that tore his ACL, right? From Georgia. He ran well too. Yeah, the wide receivers ran really, really well yesterday. For the tight ends, before I move on, the tight ends look good too. Now, something that Bobby Belt broke down, and I'll bring up some more of his tweets later, coming into the combine. Receivers and mostly the tight ends, though, they weren't going to bench and run the 40 at the combine. These guys are getting smarter. They didn't want to do both in one day. So some of them benched and did the combine. A lot of them benched, and did the 40-yard dash. A lot of them benched and won't do the 40-yard dash until their pro day. But in regards to the drills, I mean, the Trey McBride's obviously probably was the best in regards of, hey, this is tight end 1A, 1B, right? I think he was a tight end. He was the tight end standout per se. But I got a guy I want to talk about after we get done with all this who, to me, I would love to have. In fact, he's starting to become one of my favorites. But, yeah, the tight ends, I thought that group looked good enough for me to, again, to be like, I'm not paying $12 million a year to Dalton Schultz. But there's a lot to go into that, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit later. So here's the frustrating news from yesterday. And I'll pull up this tweet. Michael Gelkin reported yesterday, CD Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Amari Cooper have all but certainly played their final game together in Dallas. There are still moving pieces for the Cowboys, but there's shared opinion from several sources at the Combine. It would be an upset if Cooper returns. An upset. I mean, again, this is not anything that I'm surprised about. Bobby Bell said this has been building. Nothing has been decided, but the odds-on favorite for several weeks has been that Cooper will be out. The situation with DeMarcus Lawrence is much less clear. And I agree with that latter part. We're not hearing too much about D-Law anymore. It's being pushed heavily towards Amari Cooper, which, again, is weird to me. Because if you're going to pick between the two, one guy's been hurt often in his career. When I say often, I mean twice now he's broken his foot and missed significant time. One guy's older. One guy actually costs more. And we're going with the other guy. The guy who helped, your offense find itself. The guy who is one of the best in the league at his position too. A younger guy, a guy who plays more. Would have played 16 games last year, but, COVID happened. Or 17 games, whatever it was. So it's just so weird. But the sense I'm getting, gut feeling I'm getting, and kind of what Kyle Yeoman said yesterday, he said likely both are gone, but most likely one of them are gone. So the hope is that at least DeMarcus Lawrence can stay here. I'm not in the business of giving up my best players for some freaking cap. I'm not. So I see people are questioning the source, but I mean, you can question Bobby if you want. I don't look at Bobby as a questionable person. Bobby works his ass off and has really reliable sources. And again, nothing has been decided. He didn't say these things are happening, but the odds-on favorites are several weeks has been that Cooper will be out. Not just Bobby saying that. Michael Gelkin is saying that. Jory Epstein. All those plugged into the team are saying something most likely will be happening. Listen to Stephen Jones. This is not a shocker, y'all. It's not a shocker. It's frustrating, but it's not a shocker. With Blake Jarwin, who underwent surgery in February, which we didn't know, and I think his time in Dallas might be done. Here's the tweet, or here's the nugget. In late February, Cowboys tight end Blake Jarwin underwent surgery for a hip injury that is considered very uncommon for an active NFL player. He is not expected to be available for the start of the 2022 season, clouding his Cowboys' future. I hear hip surgery, immediately I don't feel comfortable. So I was actually surprised he came back last year at all. But I hear hip surgery twice in the last 4 months. And I'm thinking, Blake, you might want to hang him up, man. You might want to hang him up. I think the most likely thing that is down the pike here is Blake Jarwin will be cut. And that'll save you $5 million on the cap if they do so post June 1st. So I expect that to happen. That is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness, which hence Cowboys are mulling over big decisions at the tight end and wide receiver position. a lot went through my head, and it has been going through my head with this wide receiver part, and we'll get to the tight end in a second. I kind of want to harken back to what we talked about at the start of all this some odd weeks ago. At first, and I will admit, I've been very trying to figure this thing out. At first, I'm sitting here thinking, man, they're not bringing back Michael Gallup, right? This was before I believed that Cooper would be gone, right? I didn't bring back Michael Gallup. He's going to want the bag. Now I got this feeling with Cooper gone, they're definitely going to try to bring back Michael Gallup. I didn't think Michael Gallup would be ready for the start of the season, but according to his agents and his camp, he'll be ready in August. So cool. If he's going to be ready in August, I guess. Will he be all the way acclimated by September? Maybe, but it'll probably take till about October for him to get fully back into things with that ACL. But if they bring him back again, if it's a 1 year type of deal, prove it type of deal that allows him to stay with the team and rehab and stay around the squad, come to the star and things like that, cool. I wouldn't necessarily remove the position from a need basis heading into the draft. So obviously at 24, at 56, in the third round, that position becomes more of a drastic need as opposed to a need that's mulling in the bushes, right? That's chilling. Like, I'll pop out if you get rid of Cooper, but if not, I'm chilling. And the fact that they're getting rid of Cooper means that wide receiver shoots up the board. So this really, I smell. I'm not going to say the rest, but for those who watch House, I'm talking about, I smell a Michael Gallup return, Amari Cooper release. You would hope it'd be a trade, but I smell a Gallup return. Now, I'm not with pairing. I don't want to bring back Cedric Wilson as well. I love Ced, but I'm thinking of you're probably going to pay around like $8 million for Michael Gallup. Ced's market value $6. I'm going to put $14 million to them. I'm cool with that. Go get me a young buck in the draft to be my third wide receiver and maybe possibly future number 2 wide receiver, and let's roll. I'm not saying any of these things happily, by the way, y'all. I'm not. I want to keep Cooper, period. I'm just trying to build you guys, prepare you guys for what's about to happen. So let me get to the other part, but before I do that, let me get into the chat, see what you guys are saying. Jonathan Scruggs says, don't say that, Sky. I want Cooper on his team. I know, but like I just said, man, what you want me to do, man? You want me to come on here and lie to y'all about how I feel? I don't feel it's happening. And I can't lie to y'all. I can't give y'all, Skittles and rainbows when I don't feel that. You know what I mean? Danny said, did they come out and say Coop's gone? No, they're not going to do that. They're not ever going to come out and say Coop's gone. It's just going to happen. A la Dez Bryant, DeMarcus Ware. I don't believe Sean was cut. It just happened. Jalen Smith. Right, we can go on and on. Some of the higher cuts. They don't come out and say, "Hey, y'all, next week we're going to cut Amari Cooper." It's just going to happen if it happens. Big Sarge says Woods would be an excellent blocking tight end. You just stick around, Big Sarge. You just stick around. B Bird says, can they cut Jarwin while recovering from surgery? Yeah, sure, absolutely, they can cut Jarwin. Now, I don't even think he has an injury clause in there, too. So, if I'm not mistaken, I might have read that. But they can move on from him, which is likely going to happen, by the way. Jose says Gallup and Juju will be the signings if Coop is traded. I don't know about that, man. Again, I think we're giving the Cowboys the benefit of the doubt here that they'll spend this kind of money in free agency. You realize Gallup and Juju are going to probably cost you north of $15 million combined, if not 20, depending on what Juju wants. I just have a hard time seeing. I mean, how stupid would that be? You know what I mean? You're going to cut your guy that you're paying $20 million a year for to go sign 2 guys at $20 million. One a hurt guy, the other guy Juju, who's been Juju ain't been Juju since AB left. I'm telling you, I have a feeling this is going to be Michael Gallup and draft guy. Michael Gallup and draft guy, Cowboys Nation. All right. Here's the second part of the situation that I find interesting. So because of the Blake Jarwin thing, there seems to be a lot of Cowboys fans that are, and by the way, here's the phone line. My apologies. 351-999-3787. A lot of Cowboy fans hear the Blake Jarwin news and they're like, oh my gosh, we have to re-sign Dalton Schultz now, or we have to tag Dalton Schultz, or does this make Dalton Schultz more of a priority? Not necessarily. For me, not much changes in regards to Dalton Schultz. Remember, with Blake Jarwin or not, you still needed to address the tight end position. Right? You still needed to address it via the draft or via free agency. Blake Jarwin was a guy that this is the word I've been saying, like, you can't count on him. It just is what it is. So I'm not looking at Blake Jarwin as my future piece. I'm looking at him as part of the depth, but not depth that I'm going to be able to count on. So tight end is still a position of need. I don't think it's up there with the others, but you still need to address it. So I don't think anything changes. What you now have to do is think about how do they view Dalton Schultz, and how do they view the position? Want to show you a tweet that I put out yesterday. If the Cowboys decide to move on, I'll say this, the Cowboys are going to move on from Amari Cooper in favor to feature Dalton Schultz, I'd rather they throw that bag at Mike Gesicki. Like, what, man? So, what are we talking about? Well, Dalton Schultz had more touchdowns last year. Dalton Schultz had more. Okay. I don't view him as a feature piece. I've said that many, many times about Dalton Schultz. It's not a disrespect to him. It's just that he is what he is in this offense as an outlet. If he's going to remain an outlet, I don't sign a Dalton Schultz or a Mike Gesicki, because you don't need that type of money allocated to that position for a guy that you're just going to dump the ball off to. Or, no offense to him, but that's a lot of his receptions. His average depth per target is significantly less than a Mike Gesicki. Now, for those who don't know who Mike Gesicki is, go look him up. He's better tight end than Dalton. He's a better weapon than Dalton Schultz. And when I say feature, I mean, if a Cooper is gone, you don't bring back a Gallup, or even if you bring back a Gallup, you don't sign a Goodwin or a Devontae Adams. There's not that other guy at wide receiver. And they decide to say, you know what, we're not going to pay a lot of money at receiver. We got Lamb, and we'll deal with the rest how we deal with it. But instead, we're going to feature Dalton Schultz more because we're paying him $12 million a year, $10 million a year, whatever it is. Number one, no. Dalton Schultz ain't a guy I'm featuring. But if I'm going to feature the position, a guy like Mike Gesicki is. Mike Gesicki's a guy I can get down the field with. He's more explosive. He's more athletic. He's a guy I can throw it up to. There was that film study that Kurt Warner did after the game. And he said, there's one-on-one with Dalton Schultz on the cornerback, and Dak didn't have the confidence to go over there because that is not Dalton Schultz's game. Not one-on-one, I'm going to throw it up to you on a corner. Gesicki, different animal. Different animal. So my thought process is starting to come around to, if they move on from Coop, what are they going to do at that wide receiver position? If it's address it with another top-tier wide receiver or feature wide receiver, then cool. But if their thought process is, hey, man, we really want to keep Dalton Schultz because relationship with Dak, okay, and we're going to feature him, I think that's a terrible, terrible, terrible mistake. Dalton Schultz is not a feature piece. He's not a feature piece, man. Don't kill me. I do not want to put $12, $13 million to the position at all. I don't want to go sign a Mike Gesicki because I feel like you can do different things. But if they decide to feature that position, then I'd rather kind of fast track that as opposed to a young buck. But I got a young buck for y'all. Let me get here in the chat real quick, though. Doc says Cowboys have no blocking tight ends. Go check out Sean McEwen. Sean McEwen's a blocking tight end. But you can get a blocker. Go sign Blake Bell if you want to get a blocker. That kind of kills me a little bit, yeah. People, it's a blocking tight end, brother. Go sign a blocking tight end. You're fine. They don't need to be tight end ones. The odds of you finding a top tier receiving pass catching tight end and blocking tight end are extremely slim to none. In fact, to find one that is average at both is really hard in the NFL. So go get a blocking tight end if you want. My tight end one, if he's a feature piece, I'd rather him be more of a receiving threat, a playmaker, as opposed to this dominant blocker. There's only so many George Kittles. Jeremy said Gesicki got better hands. Gesicki does everything at a receiving level much better than Dalton Schultz. Much better. D Block says it'd be a terrible mistake to let Coop go. So why wouldn't they sign or tag Schultz? Why wouldn't they sign or tag Schultz? I don't know what you're getting at there, brother. It would be a terrible mistake to let Cooper go. That doesn't mean I would sign or tag Schultz. If they do that, hey man, they want to argue and whine about cap. I don't think this is smart cap resources if you put it towards a tight end who's just going to be an outlet. Now, if the positional importance changes and it moves up in the hierarchy and it becomes, hey, our tight end now needs to be Jason Witten-esque, like we're going to target him like Jason Witten in his prime, and he's going to be part of this offense, not a product of his environment. I wouldn't throw it at Schultz. I'd throw it at a better tight end. 3, 2, 1. What it is, what it do?
What's up, Sky? So
what's going on?
My thoughts on the tight end situation is this. I would rather cut Blake Jarwin.
That's coming. That's going to happen, bro.
Schultz walk. Yeah. I think the thing is, I feel like, it's tight end. They treat the tight end position almost kind of like the safety position, where after Jason Witten kind of left, they just kind of kept throwing darts at the board to try to get who they could to play the tight end position, and they hit on Schultz. But I don't think Schultz is a more impactful player for the team than Amari Cooper is. Dude, they barely give they. You remember when we first got Coop, the game against Philadelphia where he went off for 200 plus receiving yards. That's how Coop should be utilized. And then, I don't like the way how they've gone and try to minimize his role in the offense and his impact on his team. Like, he's great for CeeDee Lamb to keep helping CeeDee Lamb develop as a receiver.
Yeah, I mean, he helps all your receivers. You still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You heard Simi Fehoko. If you go listen to his interview on 105.3 The Fan, he took Simi under his wing, and he took the same thing he did with CeeDee Lamb when he was drafted. He's the big brother of that locker room. He's loved in that locker room. I don't know if he's loved with the front office, and he's obviously extremely important to this offense with Dak Prescott. So, this is everything Stephen Jones about money written all over it. That's all this is about. It's not about play. He doesn't play bad. He's not a locker room problem. Everyone gets along with him. He doesn't complain. Even when he does complain, it's the most respectful complaint I've ever seen in my life. So this is all about money.
Yeah, and I just it to me it's kind of almost like you remember how they were trying to kind of almost, I don't know how the narrative was going, but when Dak was trying to get his contract, they were trying to make him seem like he was the bad guy. It seems like they're doing the same thing with Amari Cooper.
Yeah, they're good at that. That's right up their alley.
So I would say this. There's one tight end in this draft that I do really like. It's the tight end out of UCLA. Greg
Dulcich.
Greg something. Yes.
Yeah.
Now you talk about somebody who has the potential to be he could be that kind of tough kind of tight end to bring down, like, what's the guy's name from San Francisco?
Kittle?
Yeah, Kittle. He has toughness like Kittle. Once he gets the ball in his hand, he's tough like Kittle to bring down.
Yeah, I like Greg Dosich. Foots put me on to him last month. Checked him out, and he's one of my favorite mid-round guys to acquire. So I'm with you there on Greg.
Yep. And as far as receivers, just in case we don't bring back Gallup or Cedric Wilson, because I honestly think that we should let them both walk as well too. I feel like, if we're penny pinching, I like the receiver out of Cincinnati, Alec Pierce. I've been preaching this for like the last month or so, how good of a route runner he is. He's got good speed. He came in the top 4 receivers at the combine with his speed, and he's been a consistent receiver for Cincinnati these last few years as far as receiving. So that's one of the receivers that, I would keep an eye out on because, Mike McCarthy, he does like his taller receivers who got somewhat speed. Yes. All right, man. But that's all I was calling about, brother.
All right, man. Appreciate the phone call, man. You have a good one. Have a good weekend.
Appreciate your work. Thank you.
Yeah, that is something to note. Mike McCarthy, at least in Green Bay, he loved those huge receivers. In fact, when we did potential said Wilson type replacements, was it the St. Brown kid? Equiminius St. Brown was a guy that I featured in that episode. Not necessarily saying he's going to be a wide receiver 2 type of guy, but he's 6'5", 4'3" dude, big, long, rangy type of wide receiver, but just never really clicked over there in Green Bay. And I believe Mike brought him in, if I'm not mistaken. So he has familiarity with him. But let me get to my guy of all the tight ends that I am very, very, very fascinated with. And that is one, come on up here, Jelani Woods. I thought, to me, he helped himself the most of all the guys that you would consider day 3 guys. This dude might be day 2. 6'7", 259 pounds. Ran a 4.61, which is the second fastest at the combine. Mind you, y'all, 4.61 for a 260-pound dude is really extremely impressive. 24 reps on the bench was the best. And last year at Virginia, his only season at Virginia, was his best season of his collegiate career, especially from a receiving standpoint. 44 receptions, about 600 yards, and 8 tutties. He actually started off, though, at Oklahoma State as mostly a blocking tight end. So for those who are looking for the blockers, there you go. I think Jelani could turn into one of those dual threat guys, and so does he. He said, I'd say I'm a balanced tight end. I'm able to dominate in-line blocking, and I'm able to attack vertically down the field, be that guy who can stretch the defense. Yes, he can. Go check him out. Listen, I don't like to have favorites. I don't like to get attached. But Jordan Davis is a guy, Sky Moore, Jelani Woods, some of my favorite prospects in this draft. And I feel like you can snag him, man. I feel like you can get him in those mid rounds. Now, he kind of reminds me of a Martellus Bennett, to be honest with you. And don't sleep on Marty B. People sleep on Marty B. Just because he was what he was here in Dallas doesn't mean Marty B wasn't a really damn good tight end in his career. This guy was a blocker first in regards to Jelani Woods, and a damn good one. And then he showed off his receiving ability last year. So I have been battling, and it all depends, right, on free agency, but I've been battling where to take the tight end because I never thought that the Cowboys are going to sign this big-time tight end. I still don't believe they'll bring back Schultz. I hope it's not on a big contract. So I felt like they were always going to go veteran tight end, 1-year deal, and draft a guy. This is the guy. This is the guy I would really, really like to have. I feel like he can have a Martellus Bennett type of year 1 and then take over in year 2. Y'all remember Martellus Bennett in year 1 had about 4 or 5 touchdowns, something like that. Red zone threat as he was kind of getting acclimated. And then if you guys really dig down deep, him and Jason Witten just never jived. Bad timing on the pick because Jason Witten wasn't going anywhere for like a whole nother decade. But I think he could have that kind of role year 1. If not, take the whole damn thing over. But, over 70% of his receptions last year resulted in a first down or touchdown, and he had 0 penalties, according to Dane Brugler. Jelani Woods also said this. He did a lot of fullback at Virginia. He did a lot of inline blocking. And he said, I did a lot of F position, which is a pass catcher. I'd probably say the majority of the time, though, he was at Y as an inline blocker. So you want to talk about a guy who can be a vertical threat, who can be a playmaker. I mean, this dude, his catch radius is ridiculous. His physicality is ridiculous, but also be a physical blocker. I'm looking at Jelani Woods. And I'm looking at him, depending what happens in this free agency, 3rd to 4th round. Third round might seem crazy before yesterday, but I don't think it is right now. So, no. Stephen White, I love you, brother, but Semi Fehoko cannot. Semi Fehoko is 6'4", 223, so they can get up to 235. This is a totally different ball game, brother. Semi ain't used to banging with no defensive ends and defensive tackles. He better stick to that hybrid stuff. You know, come in from occasionally. Jelani Woods is a different breed when it comes to blocking. JP said he had to transfer out of Oklahoma State to get more receiving reps, and look what happened. So go look him up, man. Jelani's become one of my favorite tight ends in this group, and it's a good group. It's a hell of a group. You can get there's a lot of day 3, end of day 2 guys that you can get in this draft, and I think you'll be fine off, better than paying $12 million for security purposes. One of the debates I had on Twitter was, because here's the thing. People are saying, well, Dalton Schultz knows Dak. That's cool. Yeah, I don't think you really need to know a whole lot to turn around at 7 yards, 5 yards, and catch the rock. That sounds disingenuous. I shouldn't do that. But I've seen Dak Prescott get a wide receiver, which is harder to get connection with, mid-season and connect. I've seen Dak Prescott get a veteran like Randall Cobb in the offseason and connect. Quarterback is a 7-year pro about to be. I'm not tripping about, he knows so-and-so at the tight end position. If you want to keep relationship, if you want to keep that type, if you want to use that as a reason to keep so-and-so, use it to keep Amari Cooper. You don't use it to keep the guy who's looked at as the 5th option. Stephen White, come on, man. I know you're smarter than that. You think Semi Fehoko is banging with defensive ends and defensive tackles at 6'4", 225. What are we doing here? Doc says Schultz has reliable hands. He does. He does have. He catches the rock. I mean, that's the thing. I don't want to bash Dalton Schultz, but I'm looking at it differently. I'm looking at it as if I'm going to allocate that big of a resource to that position, he now becomes a feature piece. I don't view Dalton Schultz as a feature piece. Screw the highlights. The regular film doesn't show, but if you watch just the highlights, there's nothing feature about a Dalton Schultz. If you watch him, he doesn't have the wiggle. And you're gonna say, oh well, wait, he made people mad. His catch radius isn't that impressive to me. He can catch the ball, but go watch a Mike Gesicki, then go watch a Dalton Schultz. You'll say, okay, that's a guy. If I need him to get 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns on a consistent basis because I'm paying him that, I can send him 25 yards down the field. I can send him on drags and he can eat it up. I can send him on deep posts and what have you. I can do different things with this wide or this tight end because his skill set is better, in my opinion. I had a guy tell me, well, look at their stats. Don't. First of all, Gesicki has 1,400 yards over the last 2 years. The touchdowns is where the difference is. Schultz has 1,400 yards over the last 2 years. One had Dak Prescott. The other had Tua Tagovailoa. That's the end of the discussion. Go watch him. And that's just one example. So if I'm going to throw the bag at a guy, I want to throw the bag at the guy that I can feature is what I'm saying and what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. Steve ain't letting that one go. Okay, Steve. Jeremy likes Otten's tape as well. Yeah, and let me just get this straight. He's not the only one. Like, Jelani's not the only one that I think could come in here and be a productive. I'm just fascinated. Y'all know me. I talk about the big safety, right? The Kyle Hamiltons, right? I talk about the Jordan Davis. I'm just fascinated with size, speed, explosiveness from players. And I love traits, but can these traits translate? And I just do. I think Jelani Woods' traits, I think they can translate. I just do. Keith, he ain't going in the 6th round no more. He ain't going to the 6th round no more. Listen. If you take a Jelani Woods in the 4th round and you view him as a 6th round grade coming in, I'm not tripping at all. You go look at the Cowboys, 4th, 5th, and 6th rounders over the last decade. It's not like, aside from a Dak Prescott, you're getting superstar type of output from these guys, right? These are hit and miss. So you get the guy that you think fits best. I remember another player that happened with. Who was it that just said that? Keith. And his name was Anthony Hitchens. He was viewed as a 7th round type of linebacker. People were like, what? Why are you taking Anthony Hitchens in the 4th round? And Anthony Hitchens balled out in Dallas. So it's how you view him as a fit on your team, how you view so-and-so player as a fit on your team in regards to where, the grade would be. Grades aren't viewed that way with a lot of these analysts. They just straight up view them as, okay, he's a 160th in the draft, or he's 77th in the draft, so I'll put him in the 4th, 5th round. I'm looking at it as Cowboys. Where do I value said player? And I value a guy like him. And most of these mid-round tight ends from 4 to the 4th to the 5th round. Like, that's probably where I would attack that position. Yeah, Jake Ferguson ran really bad yesterday. If you want a blocker. How old is Gesicki? I'm not sure. It shouldn't be that old. 26. Gesicki's 26. What's up, Los? It says, good morning, Sky. Hope all is well. I'm really disappointed in the radio off-topic issues. They bash Dak for being trash when they call out the play calling we've had. I'm not listening. So is that what the conversation is on the radio today? Is Dak Prescott day? I get it. B. Bird says, blocking is a mentality. Simi ain't built like that. If they wanted to be a hybrid, he better be. All right, guys, before I get into the mailbag segment, got to tell you about another one of our sponsors here. And that is the OSMI, which is the Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Institute. OSMI provides arthroscopic and robotic assisted orthopedic surgery, foot and ankle surgery, sports medicine, physical therapy, and a ton more. Their team of orthopedic specialists has offices in Fort Worth, Decatur, Mansfield, to provide state-of-the-art orthopedic care to the North Texas area. When it comes to medical care, you and your loved ones deserve the best possible experience. So schedule your hassle-free appointment today at osmifw.com. Whenever we get a chance to have this interview with the doctor from OSMI, we're going to talk about the surgery from Dak Prescott. We'll talk about the PCL thing. We'll talk about the recovery from, Michael Gallup. We'll talk about all that stuff because I think that's important to see where these things are. Hell, we'll bring up Blake Jarwin. I think having an OSMI in our pocket is going to be awesome because during the season, we can hit up one of the doctors and they can tell us what's going on right away. All right, guys, let's jump into the mailbag segment today. And we'll start off with one Cowboy Marty, longtime listener here on YouTube. He says, is it safe to say we are officially rebuilding and have really no shot at the upcoming Super Bowl if we let go of Amari Cooper? No shot is I'm not in the business of looking into a crystal ball. I can't predict no shot at a Super Bowl. Listen, we understand it's tough to get there anyway. Cowboys haven't done it in 26 years. I don't even want to talk that. But rebuilding, I can see why that word would be brought up, but no. To me, rebuilding is when you are without a quarterback. That's rebuilding. Cowboys are not in the rebuilding mentality, and they probably won't be ever again under Jerry Jones. Jerry's not in the business of going 4-12 for the sake of draft picks. So I would say no. Derek says, we'll win the division, but without Coop, I don't see them going far. That's the thing, right? That's the thing. We're about to ban the term Super Bowl at this damn point. For why? For who? For what? Win some playoff games first. I think it was J. Ron Curse who said, they asked him the question, is this a Super Bowl defense? He said, well, Dan Quinn's been there. But we're not a Super Bowl defense until we get to the Super Bowl. So maybe Cowboys Nation, and I'm guilty of this sometimes in the middle of the season, saying, yo, this is a Super Bowl roster. Get rid of the term. Get rid of the term Super Bowl roster. Get rid of the term Super Bowl team. Get rid of all that. It's not until you do it. That's how I look at it. Bill Bradley over on Facebook. What is the plan to bolster the interior offensive line? I feel replacing Connor Williams and Tyler Biadasz with someone not on the roster now would reduce a huge chunk of penalties. Speaking of penalties, by the way, Jelani Woods had 0 penalties at Virginia, so that's awesome. Tyler Biadasz wasn't a penalty magnet. Again, I think a lot of people are more down on him than I am. I told y'all, if it's Tyler Linderbaum, cool. Other than that, listen, we can roll out Tyler Biadasz, and I think we can roll out a good offense if they fill in these small little holes correctly. Nonetheless, replacing Connor Williams, replacing a 15 penalty guy will definitely reduce a chunk of penalties. So what is the plan? The plan is going to be probably to draft a left guard. I think there was a report yesterday, or not even a report, an article that came out that said they don't expect, and I probably could have went in on this, but I won't until I dive a little bit deeper. Don't expect Lyle Collins to move to left guard. So again, left guard becomes a blinking red light if it wasn't already in the first day or two of the draft. So I think that's the plan to bolster the interior, is to sign a left guard. I think they're going to run it back with Tyler Biadasz. 17 wide receivers in the top one. Okay, you're looking at other things. Sean Smith, what is Dallas going to do about the salary cap sitting at $21 million over the cap? Well, if you go back to the first part, they're probably going to get rid of Amari Cooper and or DeMarcus Lawrence. That'll save you roughly over $20 million right there. So those two moves will get you under the cap. And if you account Dak Prescott's, you'll be even more under the cap. But I don't think you need to do either of those to get under the cap. We talked about that how many times? I think you just restructure Amari Cooper, obviously restructure Dak Prescott, and you become under the cap right there. We went through this whole thing. Will said, it's a very good point. We are not a Super Bowl defense until we get a Super Bowl. Or at least go. We need to stop crowning these guys until they have actually won something. Yeah. Appreciate you, B. Bird, for the super chat here.
Super chat.
$5 donation. He says, on offense, we have too many thermometers and not enough thermostats. Oh, that's some deep stuff right there. Danny believes O-line, 1 tech, and 2 linebackers, no particular order. That's the thing, Danny. The needs may flip. You get rid of Cooper, doesn't wide receiver creep up the board? You get rid of defensive end, DeMarcus Lawrence, doesn't defensive end creep up the board? I'm just not in the business of creating more needs unnecessarily. I wrote this in the group chat. The Cowboys' core is intact if they decide to keep Cooper, for the most part. I don't think there are a ton of glaring holes, but there's little small ones, and small things can add up to be a big problem. But I think they can fill these small holes via the free agency and the draft if they do it right. But if you're creating now glaring holes, wide receiver, glaring holes, defensive end, I don't think that's the way to go. I don't think that's the way to go, man. Jeremy wants to cut Anthony Brown. That's an extra $5 million. I mean, for what? I don't think $5 million is doing anything, but this, according to Mike Fisher, they're looking to cut Anthony Brown, or could cut Anthony Brown and try to re-sign him to a cheaper contract to be a backup to Boss Man. AB's not going for that. And who would do that? Who would do that? And CJ Richards, he says, we need a couple players on both defense and offense. Do you think that they will concentrate more on defense or offense in the draft? And I'll come back with this one, CJ. I think it all depends what they do in free agency. If you look at, you know, the small holes I talk about, they're on both sides of the ball. So I don't think there's a wrong answer here. Offense and defense they need to concentrate on. Said this before. They have the opportunity not to put themselves up against the wall in this draft if they attack free agency right. If they do not, well, you know, now we go into the draft with a ton of needs. Last year was mostly a defensive draft for obvious reasons. You were very whole offensively. I don't think you're whole offensively, especially if you get rid of Cooper. And on defense, depending what you do with the Randy Gregory, what you do with the DeMarcus Lawrence, right? You could potentially be looking at bigger needs. Right now, there's just small depth at linebacker. That's not a major need if you really look at it, but to me, it's the top need because of there's no players there, right? That doesn't mean you have to go there in the first round. Remember, pre-free agency, linebacker was one for me because there are no players. There's literally only Micah Parsons. And what they like to do with Micah is bring him down to rush the passer. So who's going to be your backer right now? There's just one guy, Micah, and then you got Jabril Cox coming off an ACL injury. So body-wise, you need it. But do you need to take one in round one? Probably not with the depth at the position in the draft. But I Dean is there. Be happy with it. Lloyd, I'd be happy with it. Jay says AB should be trade bait. Do we think that AB would get anything? I mean, maybe a 5th, 6th rounder. Maybe a 5th, 6th rounder. Jeremy says the $5 million can go towards Curse. Yeah, but what do you say? You can go towards Curse, but you still need to restructure contracts. That's the thing. Strictly restructuring contracts, the Cowboys have enough money. They have plenty of money to re-sign the guys they want to re-sign. Remember, I created for you guys upwards of $50 or so million of cap space by restructuring guys. Danny believes this is what's wrong with Dallas. Cox sucked at LSU. He played like 8 games, and we anointed him the next star. What are you talking about, Danny? Jabril Cox didn't suck, number one. Number two, he was drafted in the 4th round. Number 3, he rarely saw the field as a rookie. So where was he anointed? Interesting. What it do, Skywalker? Caught you on the round table. Missed you, Law, Foots, Vach, old school. Yeah. Round table was awesome, man. Make sure y'all check that out. Matter of fact, I want to bring up this audio. If I could find it. Well, I have it, but if I can pull it up for y'all, if you don't mind. Impeccable timing by Cal Yeomans yesterday, by the way. Come on. Impeccable timing. We talked about Blake Jarwin for a brief second. He did at least, and he brought up some of the tight ends to watch. And right after that, I want to say right in the middle of all the combine nonsense, right? This happened. Blake Jarwin situation. But here's what Kyle Yeomans
I think Trey
Both tight
McBride
ends.
is probably one of the best receivers out of the tight end group in terms of a pass catcher. He still leaves a little bit to be desired from a blocking standpoint, but he's somebody that Cowboys fans should keep their eye on. And then Iowa State, Charlie Kohler as well is another tight end. Tight ends, of course, hitting the field today. You'll see the way that these guys run, the way that these guys go through certain drills and stuff like that. I think it'll be interesting to see who kind of stands out there, but just know the Cowboys are definitely going to have their eye on tight end, because even if it's not Dalton Schultz that's going to come back, I think there's a chance that Blake Jarwin, there's something that happens there maybe, because he's kind of been off the radar. At least he's been a non-factor, and usually the Cowboys will try and make a move a couple of places like that.
I should have pushed him more on that Blake Jarwin. I feel like he knew something, but he couldn't quite say it just yet. Mind you, this is Kyle. He's plugged down there in Dallas. And like I said, not about 2 hours later, if that, the Blake Jarwin news dropped that he'll be getting hip surgery. And me personally, 2 hip surgeries in a 4-month span or whatever it is, 5-month span, I would imagine you want to hang that up, right? I'm not up there in age just yet. I haven't had hip issues or surgeries or anything like that. I used to work with someone who did. That doesn't look fun. Now, they were obviously older, but I would imagine, I mean, Bo Jackson had a hip problem, right? He had to retire early. I can't see Blake Jarwin continuing his career. Who said AB is better than Diggs? Ooh. Stephen White says AB is a solid player. Yeah, I don't understand to get rid of AB for cap savings. I thought AB played himself into being a cornerback I'd like to have on my team for depth at the very least. Why not let Bossman Fat and AB compete? If he is what you think he is, then he should beat AB out. He has 1 year left on his deal. Want to get rid of AB, DeMarcus Lawrence, Amari Cooper, all these players. These are the type of, again, I don't want to say AB's a championship guy, but you need that type of depth. Make them compete. I'm not in the business of handing it to them. Make them compete. You made Trayvon Diggs compete, but we want to just give it to Bossman Fat. I'm not in the business of that, man. Kent Rock said, tight end not our main priority, man's gone. It's probably not a main priority, but it's got to be up there in priorities. You got 1 tight end on the roster right now. Hell, even the tight end that was trash last year, the cat from Washington, he played a couple different teams, I think. Jeremy Sprinkle is a free agent. You literally right now, because not Dalton Schultz, Blake Jarwin is likely done. You got Sean McEwen. From a need standpoint, you ain't got enough bodies. I see y'all in here talking about Diggs. Casimir says Sean McKean's our starting tight end. Well, for right now. Which is a problem. So let me ask one more question, and then we're going to wrap this thing up in regards to the tight end position, because I don't think we've gotten a solid answer from the fan base here, and I want to know this. What would you guys do at the tight end position? Should have put it in as a poll. Re-sign Dalton Schultz, draft a tight end in the top 4 rounds, or sign a guy in free agency. What would you do? I would do a combination of the latter two. I would sign a 1-year deal in free agency, maybe 2-year, nothing crazy. But I would definitely draft a tight end in the first 4 rounds. And I'm looking at that 3rd at the highest, 4th area. So 3 to 5. We'll say that, 3 to 5. What would you guys do? That's a lot of resources there. You want to re-sign Dalton, sign a free agent. Well, when I say free agent, by the way, I'm not talking about, hey, we're going to go sign a blocking guy. I'm talking about a guy, right? Like Mo Alley Cox, O.J. Howard. I'm talking about a guy that could come in and fulfill the receiving part of it. But these boys just win, says free agent and draft a tight end. Late round, draft a tight end. Skywalker, I would draft a youngster, my boy, says Anthony Hatcher. Sign O.J. Howard. Sign Schultz and in the draft. So you're doing 1 and 3. Yeah, if the thought process is we're going to re-sign a Dalton Schultz, yeah, I would also draft the tight end as well, but probably much later than I would. I wouldn't draft one in the third round. I'd probably wait till like the 5th, 6th, 7th, undrafted. If you re-sign Dalton, it does not become a priority to me anymore. It becomes more of a luxury pick in the draft. Draft and free agents, sign Schultz in the draft. Late rounds though. Can't commit $12 million to Schultz, kind of where I'm at. Again, I said, if we're going to commit $12 million to Dalton, just throw that bag at Mike Gesicki. If you're going to make him a feature part of this offense, just throw that bag at Mike Gesicki. But I got a feeling that Miami's not doing that. I went and did a little bit of deep diving on him, and it sounds like Mike Daniels, the new head coach over there, a.k.a. Logic. Mike Daniels, a.k.a. Logic. He literally is Logic as a coach. I think Mike Gesicki is likely going to stay in Miami. But the point of me saying this is that I would rather get more of a guy that I can feature, has those skill sets, than Dalton Schultz. Ooh, bring in Gronk. Maybe I'll make a video about that. Some people might laugh at that. Oh, Gronk's over. Man, Gronk could play. I mean, I don't know if he wants to anymore. I know in Dallas, his star is going to rise more. Maybe he comes to Dallas, and for the first time in his career, in Tampa, he kind of was like this. But he's like, hey, I'm just going to show up. I'm Gronkowski. I'm at all these commercials and everything. But if he is the player on the field that he's been, I'm not tripping about no Gronk. I bring in Gronk, yes, tomorrow. The thing is, though, Gronk's at the point of his career where he's like, can I win a Super Bowl over there? Can he? Brandon C., tell me he don't look like Logic. I'm actually going to see if they have a side-by-side. I think I'm playing. Okay. They don't have a side-by-side. I mean, I'll put it on Twitter or something. Oh, thought about. Woo. All right, I'm about to bring it up for y'all so y'all can see Logic. So y'all know I ain't tripping. We just having fun at this point. Where's it at? All right, I can't bring it up. Oh, wait. I might be able to bring it up. Hold up. Nah, it's not there. It's not there. All right. But just look up Logic. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Tony says all the wide receivers on this team would feel like Coop if Gronk comes. Uh-oh, we got breaking news. Yo, timing has been crazy on this show. Impeccable. Looks like Adam Schefter says something here. So who was the guy that questioned Bobby Belt? Oh, we can question Adam Schefter. You can question all sources, right? But usually when Adam says something, they say something. Here we go. Cowboys are likely to release Amari Cooper by the start of the new league year per sources. Cooper is due $20 million guaranteed money on the 5th day of the new league year, which is March 20th. Again, like I said, because we've been building this up, I am not, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I absolutely can't. How frustrating this is, man. I'm going to try to bring it up for y'all so y'all can see it real quick. Here we go. Now, that might be small, but let me see. Let me pull it up there. Boom. Cowboys likely to release Amari Cooper by the start of the new league year per league sources. Cooper is due $20 million in fully guaranteed money on the 5th day of the new league year. Cowboys Nation, there we have it. Get ready. Get ready for wide receiver in round 1, wide receiver in round 2. One of those two I think is going to happen, which is unfortunate, man. Yeah. Just frustrated. I mean, we knew it was coming, but when it happens, it happens. It sucks. Monday, we'll dive into it more, I guess. Now we'll kind of really go into replacements for Amari Cooper via free agency, not just said Wilson type replacements. So if they decide to go that route, we got to take a look. But this is Cowboys, man.
Super chat.
Why does it seem Schultz and Connor will be there, but Tank and Cooper gone? And wonder why we won't win the Super Bowl. Appreciate the donation, Lamar. Thank you for the $5. You know, I wanted to start this final segment heading into the weekend. Sorry, that's not the one I want right now. Yeah, man, this is crazy. Feel Good Friday presented by Worth the Poor. Feel Good Friday presented by Worth the Poor. Guys, this is the segment, and ladies, where we ask you, what are you feeling good about heading into the weekend? It does not have to be Dallas Cowboys stuff, and I'm pretty sure it ain't the Dallas Cowboys at this moment. So, Worth the Poor, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take the edge off of game days and stop by Worth the Poor Wine and Spirits in the Colony, Texas. Worth the Poor is a family-owned and operated luxury liquor store with affordable prices with a wide variety of spirit and wine and beer samples, making your drink choice decision very easy. And for that game day party that never ends, they even offer liquor deliveries to all of Denton County. And if you live outside of Denton County like myself, you can just give them a call, pass along the zip, and they'll schedule the delivery if possible. Or you can download their Worth the Poor app and schedule your delivery today. Visit worththepoor.com. Feel Good Friday. I'm not even going to play the drop, y'all. But it is Friday. It is the weekend. What are you feeling good about heading into the weekend? Let me see. Okay, Robert Foster says Masvidal versus Colby. Dro the Goner says not a damn thing. Come on, Dro. There got to be something going on. Y'all, don't let the Cowboys do this to y'all. I understand. It's frustrating as hell. Come on, baby. My lady in here giving away my feel good. You know, I'm gonna let them know. So you're not feeling good about nothing, huh? Just not feeling good about nothing. I get it, man. Terrible news to end the day, end of the show, going into Feel Good Friday. But here's what I'm feeling good about: going to see the Batman movie, which I've heard nothing but rave reviews about. In fact, I've even heard it's the best one, which, you know, that's saying something, because the Dark Knight is considered a classic, which it is a classic. So if it outdoes that, and hell, I'm a fan of the Dark Knight Rises, so you know, I love that one. Darkness. Don't get me started. Pull my Bane voice out. But yeah, I'm heading out to see the Batman, me and my lady Michelle tomorrow. What, or anybody else going? Anybody else? Did they see the movie yet? Did they go see it yesterday? Maybe they went last night or when it dropped. If you have, let me know how you liked it, man. But I've been seeing a ton of great reviews for The Dark Knight. Jeremy said he's not feeling good at all with the breaking news. I know, man. Remove the Cowboys, though. What's going on in your life that you feel good about? Sunshine Janae says it's my birthday weekend, so it's lit all weekend, baby. So now we ain't gonna party. Happy birthday, Sunshine. I don't want to get banned here on YouTube. They like to get you when you do that stuff. But happy birthday, Sunshine. Enjoy your weekend and have a good one, man. Have a fun one. Have fun. I always gotta tell people that want to do things, but have fun. You know, don't make it stressful. Get so lit you forget what you did or you do something stupid. Have fun and be safe. Captain America says Batman movie looks like it's going to be lit. Absolutely. I trigger my lady. She absolutely hates. We're just having fun now. When I do the Bane voice, I promise y'all, I'm a nut. I tell y'all this all the time. I literally will walk around the house talking like Bane just to get on the nerves. Patel says Batman sounds good. It looks good. It looks good. Waiting for HBO Max. Taking my son to see it on Sunday, says Dro. Yeah, we're going Saturday. I used to be, I got to go see it on Thursday type, especially when it comes to MCU, because people like to ruin it on Twitter and whatnot. But I'm not going to hold you. I think we're in phase 5 now with the MCU? Phase 5, phase 4, I can't remember. I'm not really feeling this. It's all right. But the previous phase, I had to be there on Thursday night. CT Maddenhead says, my newborn's hitting in 2 months. Feel Good Friday. Congratulations, CT Madden. Hey, when it happens, man, let us know. We'll definitely give you some love and blessings. Fresh Fade. Hey, you late, Fresh. Got to run this one back, brother. We definitely went through the Adam Schefter tweet. It sucks. That's all I can say. But again, if at the start of this show, we kind of prepared, and not even just this show, over the last number of weeks, we prepared you guys for this to happen. All right. B. Bird believes Cooper will sign with the Rams. They have a need. Can you imagine? See, that's the one thing that is going to suck, is watching this quality player go play somewhere else, likely on a team that's going to compete for a Super Bowl, and be successful. I'm not saying other guys were quality like a Damian Wilson or a Mo Claiborne, but they won a Super Bowl. Anthony Hitchens won the Super Bowl. Marcus Ware won a Super Bowl. I'm not saying that Cooper's going to win the Super Bowl, but I guarantee you Cooper's going to go somewhere and be really good. They can afford Coop. You got to stop this. Tune into the show where we talked about that. Tune into the show. All right, because before I go back into this thing, we got to end it, man. We got to end it. We'll pick this back up on Monday. You guys can call in. I'm sure there will be more details that drop. Maybe some other names will come out. I'll try to talk to some of my folks I can get in touch with down there, see what they're thinking, see what they're hearing. Obviously, this is why I asked this question to Kyle Yeomans. We as fans think combine, think prospects, but there is a lot that goes on down there behind the scenes because agents are there. Some other players may be there, that things get done down there or things get said down there. And you saw Michael Gelkin. He came out and said, from sources here at the combine, he's done, pretty much. He's done. All right. With that said, y'all, it is Friday, man. Enjoy this weekend. Have a fun, safe weekend. I will report back to y'all Monday about how this Batman movie was. I think it's going to be fantastic. It looks good. It looks good. Hey, and if you're really feeling bad and you need to take the edge off, hit up Worth the Poor. Appreciate y'all for rocking out with me this week. It's been a fantastic week. Great show. Run this back if you missed it. Or check us out on any of the podcast platforms, Spotify, Google, Apple, and hit up A to Z Sports Dallas.com. Have a good Friday, y'all. We out. Peace. Salute to the my God, Professor O.
I want me some glory hole.
Then stop cutting your best players, Jerry.